good evening from the Keystone State. Welcome to Chasing Prophecy on the UFO Paranormal Radio, 107.1 FM, New Orleans, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. I'm Jenny Nicasio, along with my co-host, Shawn Kelly, and guest co-host, Jason Lombardo. I screwed your name up, Jason. Remember to like us on Facebook and Instagram. Great to be with you guys this evening. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What a week, huh, guys?
Yes, what a week.
Absolutely.
What
Thanks for having us.
Hey, no problem. And not only did we have a really cool investigation, the POTUS got COVID and he recovered and back to the White House. And the crazy debate last night. I think it was an inside job with the tainted swabs, guys. What are your thoughts, Shawn?
I agree with you. This is all tainted. It's all ridiculous. I wish they would quit playing games and just get it over with.
Yeah.
Honest to Pete. I mean, this is just getting totally ridiculous, and it's just getting to the point where I just don't care anymore.
Yeah. Exactly. What about you, Jason? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, just finding out recently that a relative went to the hospital for something and wasn't tested for it. And then the next day they postponed their actual testing because they were positive for it, but they were never tested. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, how much of it's real, how much of it's not,
99% is fake.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think the White House was tainted with contaminated swabs.
That's
it
possible.
Just kind of seems like it's a little strange, okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we had a fabulous Friday and Saturday live investigation with Pittsburgh Paranormal Society at location at the Bellaire House. And the crew was on location there, and the property has a constant source of paranormal energy that goes in and out of the house. The Bellaire House sits on the top of a coal mine, and there were so many coal mine explosions, and many lives were lost there. Behind the house is a Native American burial ground, and they practice magic. It was always active with spirits. There's a child spirit dwelling in the Bellaire House, and her name is Emily Davis. She used to play at the Bellaire House when she was a child, and there are a few other ghosts living there. I'm not sure their name's Edwin, but you guys will tell us in a second. But some were not very nice, and especially in the basement. Shawn and Jason, what were your investigation findings?
Oh, wow. Jason, I'll turn it over to you, then I'll take over.
Well, like when we were live Friday, the house had like its own good feel to it. Like Friday was like real positive, it was good. The spirits were kind of active. We caught a lot of orbs and everything. And then, like we talked about on Saturday, the house just took a total flop for the negative side. It got really, really dark. It got intense, and just you could feel the negative energy. And I've been going through, days of footage and surveillance cameras. So it's taken a minute, but I posted a couple small clips on Instagram on the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society of some interesting orbs we got and some other anomalies. And as we continue to go through, like pictures and everything, we're going to really dive in and see what we caught, over the next, week or so to finally get it all done.
And is there anything that sticks out in your mind that you want to share with us?
Yes.
Go ahead.
The cellar, the basement on Saturday night.
Definitely.
It was pure evil down there. Pure evil.
It was.
It wasn't demonic. It was just 3 or 4 of those coal miners who were mean, very, very mean. And they started to attack my crew. And I did not quite like that. And Saturday, that was the first time that I ever really, really got into hunting mode, because I really, really wanted to take care of them. They really mess with my people, and I take that just pisses me off. And so eventually what happened later on in the evening, they kind of went away because the activity just quit going down there. And it just got real, like, I don't want to say positive, but it had a better feeling than it did during the daytime and earlier in the evening. And my team knows not to provoke spirits. They do not provoke. And no one provoked them. These guys are like God for blood. So
how did they provoke them, Shawn, real quick?
Well, when people provoke the spirits, right? They just started coming right up on was it Roy? They started pressing against his back. Yeah,
that's what started.
That's what started it. And Roy don't provoke. And then he has, I don't know, did you get the pictures from him where the orb is actually?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That was pretty bizarre. It was really, I seen that because he complained that his neck hurted and his back.
Yes.
That was really weird, really strange.
Well, it was a great investigation all in all.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and do you think you'll go back?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You're coming with us.
I don't know about that. I think they like to attach to me, and then I get sick. And so that's why I have to be careful.
You got some big boys down there in the group that they won't mess with. They won't mess with you.
Okay, well, we'll think about that. But tonight's guest knows a little about ghost investigations as well. And his name is David Laville, founder of the New Orleans Ghost Hunters. He started in 2010 to validate personal experiences. David has been a guest speaker at local libraries and conventions, featured on numerous shows, documentaries, as well as local newspapers about paranormal, haunted New Orleans, Louisiana folklore. He's hosted his own radio show on AM in New Orleans and was just featured on the new Travel Channel paranormal show Buried Worlds with Don Wildman. Favorite investigations was Fort Morgan on Mobile Bay, Alabama, McRaven House in Vicksburg, Mississippi. David, welcome to Chasing Prophecy.
Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Dave. Welcome.
It's a pleasure. David, tell us about why you got into the investigating paranormal activity.
Well, I guess like most groups, to find answers, growing up I had personal experiences and I was always skeptical. Wasn't sure if what I saw was real or not. And I didn't even know what a ghost hunter was until about 2009 when I was flipping through the channels on the TV and I see a show coming on, Ghost Hunters. So that sounds like an interesting program. So I watched it, and that's when I learned you could capture evidence of the paranormal. And it got me thinking about forming a group just to validate or invalidate experiences that I had. So that's basically how we got started.
Awesome. Shawn, do you have any questions for David?
Yeah, I do. I have a couple. How did you go by getting your crew? And did you go on the internet to pick them up, or how did you end up getting your crew? And how many are in your crew?
Well, what happened was right after I had saw an episode of Ghost Hunters and saw that you could actually capture evidence of the paranormal. A friend and I was having dinner at a local restaurant, and we started talking about the ghost and the paranormal. And I said, "Hey, let's form a ghost hunting group, and see if we can validate experiences we had." And I said, "I don't know, we call ourselves the New Orleans Ghost Hunters." So that's how we kind of came up with our name. Mm-hmm. So I went home and I started working on a website, and he ordered some equipment. I ordered some equipment. So it was just me and him, was just Keith Casella, and my brother who had experiences, and his wife joined the team. So it originally started off as just a 4-man team.
Okay.
And then it was about 3 years later, we were doing a ghost hunt at the Bourbon Orleans. They asked us to come in on a Friday and Saturday night to investigate it and allow the public to participate. And there was 2 other guys there who were very good ghost hunters, and they asked if they could join the team, and we were kind of interested in having them on the team. So they joined, and it became a 6-man team. So it's basically been like that since about 2014 to 2015.
Okay. So now Jason, he's our tech guy. He's got it all. So I'm going to turn it over to Jason, and he's going to ask you what kind of equipment you got.
Yeah, so basically, like you guys run like K2s or spirit boxes, video?
We use K2s, digital recorders, video recorders. We don't believe in a lot of high-tech equipment. We don't believe in a ghost box. All a ghost box is a broken radio. If you know how radio works, then you know that a ghost box does not work. In order for a ghost to talk to you through a ghost box, it would have to modulate its voice and then mix it with the frequency that the radio was picking up, and then the radio would have to demodulate it. So it's just a process that I don't see how a ghost could talk to you through a ghost box. It's like when you die, you somehow automatically become a radio engineer. Every ghost box session that I hear is nothing but beeps and stuff. So it's kind of pareidolia, and you kind of, trying to imagine what you're hearing. We personally, we just don't believe in a ghost box. There's just a lot of equipment we don't believe in because it produces too many false positives.
Now, sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I was going to say, what do you think about like the SLS Connect system that's out there now?
That was made. That is a. I believe that was made by Microsoft. It was a game controller, and what it does, it records data points of movement, and then it goes into a database that's built into the software, and then it uses pre-programmed figures and data points, and it constructs a figure. So it actually doesn't pick up a figure. It just picks up data points, and then using a database, it connects the dots to make a figure. In fact, when they were testing the Kinect, they picked up a camera bag, a vacuum cleaner, and I believe it was a trash can as a stick figure. So that, to me, it completely, invalidated the Kinect device.
Okay. Now, we just another tech guy in the group just invested in one, so we're going to check it out on our investigation on the 30th. And I'm kind of like interested, but real quick about the ghost box. I was like, I'm old school. Give me a digital voice recorder and give me a K2, and I'm happy.
Yeah, that's basically us. Digital recorder, the video recorder, because we can actually record tangible evidence with that. The K2 is it just gives you an indication. It could be a cell phone signal, could be a microwave oven, it could be a CB radio signal, could be anything setting it off. So it just gives you an indication. It's not really proof of anything is there. It's a lot of the ghost hunting equipment is like that. That's why we like stuff that we can capture tangible evidence with. Now, something we had a problem with, we were using a DVR system to record areas that we were not in, just in case something would happen. And it failed on us twice. So because of that, we got rid of it. We no longer use a DVR system. We got high-definition cameras with a high-capacity cores that record for about 4 to 6 hours. And they're much more reliable. The clarity is much better. So that we've gone to that.
Okay. Now back to the ghost box. I was a non-believer of that for a very, very long time. And I always told my people, I said, if I hear something on that ghost box, the ghost answering your questions, I want other type of proof where it works. And I was on the fence for it for a long time. And then we did an investigation at this old hotel. And as God is my witness, we heard a reoccurring thing on the ghost box. It was 2 guys fighting over a woman, and the one guy kills another guy. And I have like 6, 7 people to verify that. And it went on for about a half hour. It just kept repeating itself. And so I'm off the fence now. I think the ghost box is pretty cool. But again, being the old timer I am, give me some tangible evidence with with it, and then I guess I'll be happy. But my crew, they're smart. They are very professional. They are good at what they do. So I just leave it in their hands. And that's how we work at PPS. How about you?
Speaking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we just use, digital recorders, digital cameras, digital video recorders, because like at least we have something we can show. And most of our evidence comes in through the digital recorder itself,
Right.
in the form of EVPs. In doing this for 10 years, I can count on one hand how many times we've actually caught something on a camera or a video camera. It just, like I said, it just seems most of the evidence is on the digital recorder in the form of EVPs.
Jason, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I used to just use a K2 and a handheld recorder for many years, until like recently I started upgrading and getting more equipment. And I've like Shawn, I was always skeptical of the ghost box myself until we've had a couple situations where it asked for somebody particular in our group. There was a relative of somebody in the group that came through, and that there just validated for me, because I feel like the spirits find it easier to come through all that white noise and use the energy of the piece of equipment. But it's, up to everybody's own perception, if they believe it or not, that's up to the individual.
David, what was one of your investigation that really stuck out that you were totally convinced that it was something paranormal?
Oh, geez. It would probably be a house that we investigated outside of New Orleans. The family called us in. We were having all kind of paranormal experiences. And whenever we walk into any investigation, we're always skeptical, I used to believe that maybe, 60 to 70% of what people were experiencing I thought was real. Now I believe it's somewhere around 10%. I believe a lot of it is caused by environmental factors, psychological factors, wishful thinking. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying just a small percentage actually really does exist. It's just the vast majority is, like I said, these other factors. So we kind of go into investigations, open-minded, very skeptical. So we went to this one house, and being honest with you, I was really skeptical until we started investigating the master bedroom. And it was the first time that I've been doing this that we actually had something thrown across the room. And what was weird about it was we had a digital recorder going to the next room. And it actually captured that event 3 times. We have no explanation for it. You can actually hear something bouncing across the floor and my reaction to it. It took 9 seconds. And it recorded it 3 times in sequence. We don't know why, out of a 4-hour investigation, why it only recorded that one event 3 times. And we thought maybe it was just a malfunction with the digital recorder. So we went back and looked at the waveforms using a program called WavePad, and recorded the event 3 times, 3 different ways.
Oh, wow.
It was not a duplicate. It was not 3 duplicates. It was 3 different ways it was recorded. And we don't know if we experienced a time warp or what happened. We contacted the company that makes the digital recorder, and they had no explanation for it. They said the equipment's not designed to record in a loop, and they were stumped like we were, and they had no explanation for it. So that was something that was truly weird going on in that house.
Shawn, what are your thoughts?
Whenever you go to a house to investigate, I know what I do is I go down to the fuse box and see what kind of wiring they have through the house. Do you do that?
Oh, no. Unfortunately, we don't, because we investigate. The residence is usually there. We ask that the residents be there in the house with us to kind of supervise us, and they don't want us to turn off the electricity. They just want it to stay on. But as far as I don't know what electricity would have to do with something being thrown across the room, and why it would cause a digital recorder to record that one event, 3 times, 3 different ways.
Oh, I understand. Listen, I'm not knocking you on that. I'm not knocking you on that, but for me and my experience, and I've been doing this since 2006, I know that when we go to an old house, and I go down there and I check and see how old the wiring is. because the knob and tubing wiring coming out lets off a heavy EMF reading, and it can cause delusional.
We had that happen, Shawn. Remember that Norfolk Sales house?
Yes. And I was just wondering if, because like we definitely check out the wiring, and then if we're investigating a room, we take the K2 meter and we go all around that room and see if we get a baseline on it. And if it's a good baseline, then we start doing our K2 sessions.
Oh, I agree 100%. I believe you should cut the electricity to the house, to remove the variables of, EMF. But we're just in situations where the residents ask us not to, because they have to reset clocks and all kind of stuff. So we try to work around that. Speaking of something you had mentioned, we investigated a house several years ago, and a resident was saying in her bedroom she kept getting headaches. She felt paranoid and different things.
Yeah.
So as soon as we walk into the bedroom, the K2 meter spiked in full red. We're like, man, something's going on here. This is unusual. And so we walk outside, look above her bedroom, and there's a high-tension power line right across the top of her house. And there's the explanation right there, What they call fear cage. It was messing up the neurons and stuff in her brain. So case solved right there. We told her either, move out that bedroom or move your bed or something.
Jason, what do you think?
I believe, power lines definitely have a huge factor, because me and Shawn talked about, there was an investigation we were on, and the gentleman that lived there was convinced, to the max, that there was a spirit tormenting his entire family. Well, it comes to find out, he was really the only one having the experiences, and he hung out in his basement all the time. So we go down there to check it out. It had really low ceilings and just wires and fluorescent lights that were flickering everywhere. And within several minutes, Shawn, me, and the other investigator just started feeling nauseous and sick. And it's like, that explains it right there, how the electricity can really affect somebody, because there was nothing there paranormal. It was just this guy was experiencing all that EMF from all the electrical wires and the old house bad wiring. So that one, that's how we were able to present it. It's, stop going in the basement.
Like Sleepy Joe. No. I'm sorry. What's the difference between? I'm a little confused. Okay, so David, you don't like any of those K2 or the EVP reading things, right?
No, we use a K2 meter, but just as an indicator that something might be getting ready to happen. Okay. We don't use it as a source of evidence. Like if it blinks, we don't say, "Oh, that's a ghost." Okay. It just gives an indication that something might be happening. And if we start asking questions and it starts hitting in response to our questions, then we know it something might be there. That's why. So we just use it as some type of an indicator. But we really don't use it as a source of anything, because, like I said, we've tested it, and I can use a handheld flashlight and make it blink a couple of times.
I don't believe in that. I don't like that. That's my own personal.
Why don't you like that, Shawn?
because the way he set up that flashlight, it's set to where you can blow on it and the light will go off and on. Okay, now I am definitely. I'm not a fan of that flashlight.
Okay, I'm a little confused, with the flashlight. So you turn the flashlight on, or is this a special flashlight?
It's a regular flashlight.
And what do? Just turn it on and you ask it a question?
No. You unscrew it. You unscrew it where you put the batteries in.
Okay.
You unscrew it until it's like a hair touch, and you set it down and they're supposed to answer. Can you explain that, Dave?
We've never really experimented with it all that much. All I know is that you take the lens and you turn it to it's just barely making contact, and you ask a question, and it kind of makes light come on or off in reaction to the question. From what I understand is that the metal contact actually expands and contracts based on temperature, which, as electrons flow through that metal, it can cause the metal to expand and cause the light to come on. And then when it cools down, it loses contact. Basically, that's how it works according to physics. I mean, I've never really tested it to really know one way or the other. So I really can't give you an answer. I just know how you do it, but not the reasoning behind it.
Jason, did you ever try to do that?
Yes, actually, I did. I used a small mag light, and of course, I was very skeptical of this one. I'm like, okay, the flashlight, like we're talking about, because you got that metal filaments and stuff, and it has to be a flashlight with an incandescent bulb. It can't be an LED. It will not work.
Okay, so it's a regular bulb.
Yes. So
Okay.
we tried it. We tried it a few times, and it didn't really seem to match up with anything. Now, when we went to Prospect Place, Ohio, that there was a different story, because we decided to try to flashlight in a room where there's, a spirit from the Underground Railroad era. And as we asked questions pertaining to this gentleman, it would hit on the spot. So it's like, okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep talking to him, see what happens. As soon as we start talking about something else, there was nothing at all. Like, it wouldn't come on or anything. As soon as we talked to this one particular gentleman, I can't remember his name, the light would light up. So I feel like it could go either way, but I did have one good experience that I would say was accurate, because of the way it answered the questions, just like right on the spot. So that's my opinion on that.
I'll have to give it a try. It's sort of like that magic 8 ball where you shake it up and down.
Yeah.
Ask it a question. Oh, wow. Just to David. Okay, so I know my guys here that they've felt a lot of demonic presence that they truly believe were demonic. What about you? Is there any haunted houses in New Orleans that you feel that's really a bad place to go?
Yeah, I believe some places have true paranormal activity, but I have never ever experienced anything demonic.
Oh, good.
Never
Okay.
once.
That's
Okay.
good.
It's we've investigated some places in the French Quarter, like I said, where there was definitely some type of paranormal activity. Definitely the McRaven house. But as far as it being demonic or even experiencing something that was trying to hurt somebody. No, we haven't experienced. I'm not saying other groups haven't experienced it, but our group, no, we've never experienced anything.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got scratched. And personally, I have gotten scratched, kicked, punched, and bit. And I'm going to have to get your Facebook page after this and send you some pictures of our stuff. I have a question for you. Do you believe in paranormal unity?
No.
Okay.
And what is that?
And
What is
let
paranormal
me
unity?
kind of clarify that. The reason why is because there's a lot of animosity among the groups in New Orleans because it's really, really hard to get investigations. And we had to stop posting future investigations on our Facebook page because other groups were monitoring our Facebook page and was stealing investigations away from us. So because of that, we kind of had to go underground, and we don't release anything until after we investigate a place. So that's why I don't believe in paranormal unity, because you got groups out there trying to steal stuff from you. I know for a fact there was another group where their goal was to destroy us and take our name.
Been there, done that.
So that's why I don't believe in paranormal unity, because I don't see any groups in our area practicing paranormal unity.
Okay, now if another group came in and asked you for help or some suggestions, would you give it to them?
Oh, sure, naturally. That's the ethical thing to do. But when you're working really, really hard to get an investigation, and then here's this group, pops up a week before you do and goes there and investigates it, or you got a group out there trashing you and saying all kind of bad stuff about you on the internet, and that's why we just don't we prefer not to associate with other groups.
I understand completely.
Is that-
I would help some.
Is that what
I would
unity
help-
means? This
No,
paranormal
no.
unity, is that what that means? Then you work
I
with
mean-
another group?
Kind of, yeah. But see, when I started in 2006, it was to see who got the best photo. Okay. And people would mock PPS. Oh, I was on the most wanted, hated list here in Pittsburgh
God.
for a very long time. And it bothered me because, at that time, ghost hunters came on. And at that time, all the paranormal groups out there wanted, I mean, they lived and died by TAPS, and you had to be a TAPS family member, the group, and you can be put on their website. And I never wanted to be a TAPS family member. My name's Shawn Kelly. I run PPS, and the hell with TAPS. You know what I mean? The hell with that. And then I got a bad name for that. And it's just bad. But I am willing to help any group out there. But, you know, hey, Jason, tell her about that one investigation we went to a couple months ago. With the other two groups, the one out there by the church.
Oh, yes. We went to a historic society, like an old church. You know, it's converted into a historical landmark. And so we get out there, and there was like, I don't know if it was one or two other groups. There was you know, kind of people everywhere. Was it two? And it was like you could hear a pin drop when we walked in. You know, we're just walking in friendly. You know, hey, how's everybody doing? And just the reactions, you know, from the other groups, that it was like they didn't want us to be there or weren't happy, like just negative vibes off them. And I think the one guy even said, he's like, yeah, we know who Shawn Kelly's group is. And, you know, and it's like, what's that supposed to mean? You know, like we're just out here doing the same thing that everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
You know?
They would not talk to us, Jenny. Would not talk to us.
That's too bad. It's too bad people have to be like that. But moving on a little bit, David, tell us about the Buried Woods that the Travels Channel's paranormal show that you did with Don Wildman. What were you doing? What is Buried Worlds?
That was Buried Worlds. Don Wildman, who also hosts Mysteries at the Museum, he has a new show coming out, or it did come out, on the Travel Channel, and he's traveling the world, you know, looking at different paranormal things. And he was in New Orleans shooting, and it was about orbs and pirates and Jean Lafitte and cryptids and stuff. And they contacted us and asked us to investigate a cemetery with Don, which we did. We investigated a haunted cemetery, rumored haunted cemetery. And then my younger brother, who's on the team, actually his specialty is more of the folklore of Louisiana. And he's using a lot of television shows and local news about, like, the Rougarou and stuff like that, which is a Louisiana legend. So they had him go out and look for something called the Grunch, which is a local New Orleans legend. It's like half man, half goat that's supposed to be out in the swamps. So they went out there looking for the Grunch, but they never did find anything.
Never found anything?
No, I didn't find it.
The Grunch. Sort of like the Grinch, but the Grunch.
The Grunch, yeah. It's kind of a legend from back in the 60s, you know, that watch it, the Grunch will get you if you don't behave and stuff like that. It's kind of like the boogeyman.
Okay.
Like the what do you call it? The Rougarou. What?
Then we have
Rougarou.
Rougarou.
Rougarou is like a Cajun werewolf who lives in the swamps.
Oh, okay. He's like a
and if you look it up on the internet, you find out some things about it.
Did you see any Rigalous?
No, we did not see any. In fact, the Halloween weekend, well, it's right around Halloween, weekend before Halloween, there's a Rougarou Fest in Homer, Louisiana. So I've always wanted to go, but it's like I'm always out of town that one weekend. So hopefully one weekend I'll catch it.
Any of you guys' thoughts on that?
I believe, well, since we started the show, I believe in cryptids, and it's very possible there is a Rougarou down there. My ex-girlfriend texted me last night and said that she thought she saw the Thunderbird.
Oh, I believe in the Thunderbird.
Yeah. So we had to talk about that.
What about you, Jason?
I believe anything is possible. You know, it could be, or it might not be. You know, it all depends. You know, hopefully somebody will catch some good evidence of it someday.
Yeah.
Well, you guys were talking about, you know, cryptids. We have the Honey Island Swamp Monster.
Okay. What's that about?
It's the Honey Island Swamps, and it's actually about 45 minutes from my house.
Oh.
And it kind of became really big back in the late 60s, early 70s, when a gentleman by the name of Harlan Ford claimed to have captured footprints, and him and a friend had actually witnessed it. And I spoke to two people who goes hunting back there, and they swear that there is something back there. they've heard screams that they can't identify. Something was following somebody. He said it was moving on 2 feet, and it was, so I'd like to go back there one day, but I'm afraid I might get lost back there in the swamps.
Oh yeah, that would be too good.
I'd bring a guide with me.
Or beacon.
sure.
I wouldn't want to be caught in the swamp.
No.
Yeah.
Too many alligators.
No, I don't want, like in the alligators in the swamp. I watched too many True Blood. That was filmed in Louisiana, wasn't it? True
I don't
Blood?
know.
Vampires? No.
Yeah, I think so.
David?
Oh, I really have
No.
no idea. I don't really watch all that much television.
It was a while ago. So one of your favorite investigations was Fort Morgan on Mobile Bay. No, tell me about that one.
It was Mobile Bay, Fort Morgan. It's right at the mouth of Mobile Bay. It was actually it was Fort Bower a long, long time ago. It was Fort Bower. Andrew Jackson actually met there. He met the British there when he went advancing to New Orleans for the War of 1812, and then he met him again in Chalmette at the Battle of New Orleans. But anyway, it was used during the Civil War. It's where the Farragut said, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead." So we had the opportunity to investigate it from 5 o'clock in the evening when it closed down to, I think it was 6 or 7 o'clock the next morning. They kind of locked us in the fort. And it was, hardly any electricity. We only found one electrical outlet that we managed to use to power all of our equipment at our command center. And we investigated that fort the whole night. And I came face to face with an apparition.
Oh.
I got video of something moving, one of our cameras, moving it back and forth when nobody was around it. We were in the command center, had just got finished setting up the equipment. We were eating dinner, and one of the investigators looked at the monitor and said, who's playing with the camera? And we could see it moving back and forth. And we ran outside and looked at the camera, and nobody was around it. Everybody was accounted for. So it was stuff like that happened throughout the night. We got plenty of good EVPs, and we like to return to it and investigate it again.
Yeah. What was the operation of?
The apparition, I really don't know. It was the same camera that moved. My brother and I were setting it up on a second-story balcony. And I told him, I said, look, stay here. I'm going to run downstairs. I'm going to get the two-way radio so I can tell you where to aim the camera. And it was right at sunset, and I ran down a flight of stairs, and I turned the corner to go into the command center, and standing in the middle of the room, floating about a foot off the ground, was this wispy apparition. I could see a human form. And we kind of looked at each other for about a second or two, and I watched it whisk away. It went through a doorway. It turned and went down a hallway. Now,
that's cool.
At first I thought it might have been a play of lights. Had I saw it and then it disappeared, I would have said, yeah, this was kind of a play of lights. But to actually watch it whisk away through a doorway and then turn the corner and go down a hall, I believe I actually saw something. And about 2 weeks prior to that, we had gone to the fort to scout it out because we didn't want to walk in there. It was so large. We didn't want to walk in there and kind of try to figure out how it was laid out. So we wanted to walk in there prepared. And just about where I had seen that apparition, we walked into the room, and my brother was ahead of me. And I saw this greenish blue tiny ball of light form over my brother's shoulder, and it shot past him and past me and out the door. So I think I actually witnessed an orb. And the best way I can describe it is like Tinkerbell from Pinocchio, from Pinocchio or whatever.
Tinkerbell, no, that's the other dude flying, Peter Pan.
Peter Pan, that's it, Peter Pan. But it was weird because it was like this little ball of light, and it had like a tail on it, looked like a comet, but it was really, really small. And I watched it fly past me and out the door.
Wow,
and
you saw it with your naked eye.
Oh, yes. And I wish I would have had a camera or something on me, like the police use, because I probably would have actually caught it. But here, 2 weeks later, here we are, and then I run into this apparition in just about the same room. Now, what else is weird is that throughout the investigation, I swore I kept hearing a dog bark around the fort. And I kept asking some of the investigators, do you guys hear a dog? And they're like, no. So I thought maybe it was a dog that lived around the fort, or maybe it was one of the neighbors' dogs that might have been, around the fort or whatever. So we were doing a EVP session where the commander of the fort was killed. We were doing a demonstration with a cannon, and he accidentally double-loaded it. And when it went off, the cannon exploded, and it killed the cannon crew and the commander of the fort. So we were doing an EVP session, and one of the investigators asked, do you have kids? And clear as day, you can hear this deep male voice say, dog. Ooh. And I was hearing the dog around the fort. So was I hearing a ghost dog? I don't know. Could have been his dog. I don't know. So, so that was kind of interesting. Sounds
it. What about the Alabama and McRaven house in Vicksburg?
Oh, the McRaven house is really interesting. I'm a member of a Facebook group called Ghost Stories of Louisiana. And people go in there and tell ghost stories. And I had wanted to put an investigation together so people in that part of the state could experience what a ghost hunt was actually like. Mm-hmm. So I was able to secure the McRaven house, which is in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And it was kind of done really, really quick. I had like 2 or 3 weeks to put it together. And we showed up, we investigated with some people from the group. And there's truly paranormal activity going on in that house. There was walking, going down the hallways. We'd be in a room, asking questions, doing EVP sessions, and we could hear footsteps walking up and down the hallway. Oh. And I would immediately run to the door and look, nothing, nobody there. Mm-hmm. They were getting some strong K2 hits behind the house because Vicksburg during the Civil War was a siege point, and they had a lot of trenches and stuff dug, and they actually had some of the original trenches still on the property. And some of our investigators were picking up really strong K2 hits around those trenches. Mm-hmm. And something else that happened was one of the main bedrooms. I just happened to be in a room where we had the camera system set up, and it was next to the main room, and I could see on the monitor something walking back and forth, pacing in front of the mirror. So we glanced into the room. Everybody was sitting down. It's like, that's kind of odd. I look back at the monitor. I can see the mirror in a room. Something's walked back and forth in front of the mirror. So I'm like, well, thank God we got the DVR system going. We can capture it, see what's in that mirror. Well, the hard drive or something failed, and we lost all of that.
Oh no.
It's too bad.
Oh, wow.
Jumped in the DVR system, and we got high definition cameras that we can set up in the room. They work independently. They work infrared. The picture's much more clearer. They have a longer range. So hopefully that won't happen again. But definitely we would like to return to the McRaven house to find out, what is really going on there.
Yeah.
It actually dates back to the Civil War. It was originally a little one-room house, and the guy who lived there, he was like a bandit. He would rob people in the area, and then would retreat back to the house. And then when he died, some people bought the house, and he kind of added on to it. And the house has been expanded onto over the years, where now it's like this kind of somewhat plantation-style house. Mm.
Uh-huh.
And it's
Dave,
houses in Mississippi.
Dave, what is the most haunted place in New Orleans? Can you describe it?
Oh, geez, that's really hard to say. We investigated the Bourbon Orleans Hotel, and we have several stories there. This is when he asked us to come in and investigate it over a 2-night period and invite the public to participate. And the 6th floor is where they have. Is rumored to have the ghost of the children. Mm. And my sister-in-law was there. They gave us 2 rooms on the 6th floor to stay in. And my sister-in-law was walking out the room with her 2 small kids. They were about 6 and 4 in age. And she saw 2 kids run across the hallway. And she says, oh, great. They got kids in a hotel that my kids can play with while we're investigating. Well, she walked into the hall, and it was a solid wall. So what she saw ran through the wall. And she believes she may have seen the two ghost kids that's rumored to haunt the hotel. About 2 years ago, there was a TV show in town who knew he had experiences at the hotel, and they were filming there, and he asked me to come in and show him where we had paranormal experiences. And we're in the elevator with the host and the cameraman, and I'm telling the story of the children on the 6th floor and what happened to my sister-in-law. And the elevator door opens, and right when I step out and clear the threshold of the door, I see like this little kid standing in the alcove of the elevator right by the hallway. And he just takes off really, really fast. And my reaction is to chase it to find out what's going on. And I'm expecting to see like a family walking down a hallway.
Yeah.
And there's nobody there. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's kids playing tricks on us. And you can see me on camera. I'm looking to my left, I'm looking to my right, looking to find, see if I can find kids hiding. I don't see any kids. And then, like I said, it all happened so fast, I'm trying to piece together what happened. And I realized that I actually saw a little kid standing by the elevator, and when the door opened, he kind of like whisked away really, really fast. And the cameraman, he was behind me, he didn't come out the elevator fast enough to catch it. So probably had he been off the elevator first, he might have caught it.
Hey, Dave, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on portals?
I have no opinion on portals. I don't know that much about them. I wish I could answer that question, but I don't know that much about portals, to give my opinion one way or the other. What I can tell you, if this may kind of help answer your question, when we were investigating the Bourbon Orleans, in one of the corners, which was next door, used to be an opera house which burned down. There's a really strange feeling in that corner. If you walk into the corner, it feels like you walk into a warm, humid mass, and it really it messes with your emotions. You start feeling really sadness and dread. And I really didn't believe in that kind of stuff until I experienced it. Wow. And there's something going on in the corner of that haunted ballroom. And if that has anything to do with a portal, I can answer that question.
That's exactly a portal. Hey, Jen, it's getting like really close to what's in our...
Okay, sure, no problem. Well, David, thanks for joining us tonight. It was delightful and interesting.
Thank you, David, very much.
Thank you, guys. I hope I didn't come on too insultive or too strong in the beginning. I'm just kind of stating my...
No, not at all. Not
You're
at all.
a paranormal investigator.
Yeah.
You're normal.
Yeah, that's one thing is that, we always try to find answers. We don't try to find ghosts. We try to find answers, no matter what those answers are, whether it's environmental, psychological, people's imagination. We want to find answers no matter what it is.
Yes. And tell our listeners where they can get in touch with you if they want to get a paranormal investigation.
You can go to our website. It's www.neworleansghosthunters.com, and our Facebook page, New Orleans Ghost Hunters. We're real easy to find.
Awesome. Shawn, tell our audience where somebody can get in touch with you for a paranormal investigation.
Yes, they can go to our Facebook page, Pittsburgh Paranormal Society. I do believe we have an Instagram account now. It's
awesome.
Pittsburgh Paranormal Society.
Yep.
Just leave us a message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Great. And Jason, thanks for being our guest host.
Yeah, Jason.
Yes, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I want to welcome everybody to continue the conversation on Pittsburgh Paranormal Chasing Prophecy Facebook page. Please check out my author page, J.E. Nicasio. I have a Halloween, The Hunting Tales of Twyla. They're short stories. You can check that out on Amazon.com. And next week we have award-winning author, TV personality, and conspiracy theorist Mike Barra, and the host of The Real Deal Report. He's next week. And remember to like us on Facebook and Instagram, and check out and subscribe to Chasing Prophecy Radio on our YouTube channel. And we look forward to your ghostly stories. Come on, guys, get them in there. And if you want to be a sponsor, we're looking for sponsors to keep us up and running. So,
Yes.
we're open to sponsorship. And stay safe and good night. And everybody, thanks for tuning in to Chasing Prophecy again. Have a great weekend coming up.
You all
Good
too.
night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.